Hello, everybody, and welcome to the January energy update, January 2026. Happy New Year. So, every new year, I like to take a little bit of time to replenish, to get clear, to channel, to create, and really prepare and plan for the upcoming year and set the frequency for what I want to experience and what I want to see happen and what I want to step into. And I really felt this year that I really needed to reflect a lot. I found that more of my energy was going into reflecting, and it was almost like December. I was doing a lot of setting the frequency for what I was stepping into, what I want to see happen, really anchoring in my intentions because I'm planning for having a big year and there's just no more messing around anymore. And I know that a lot of you are feeling this, and I think it's the shift that we're stepping into with this year of the horse, which everybody's talking about. It's like everywhere, really loud. Everybody's jumping on that horse bandwagon, but it does feel very significant. And, I was really setting the field a lot in December. I was feeling a lot of new energy. I was on a really big wave of momentum, and I still am. But I found that, I did an event, a group channeling and activation event on 12/22. It was around the solstice. And it was so powerful, you guys. It was incredibly powerful for so many people had incredible experiences. And I went back and I did it myself. And there was a journal prompt, and it was like incredibly insightful and powerful for me too. So I highly recommend doing it. If you're looking for something to do to like anchor in the new year, I highly recommend getting on that replay. It's linked in the show notes. This would be a great thing to do this month. We really closed out a lot of energetic portals, old things that no longer needed to be there, and really opened up to new streams, new frequencies, new portals. There's a lot of replenishment codes and a really interesting power and abundance activation. So if you've been kind of feeling like you have things in money, love, wealth, health, relationships, like these things that have been lessons, I really recommend doing that activation because it really feels like what we're stepping into in this new year is all of that is about to shift. Things that have been really long-term patterns of yours, maybe even a lifetime or lifetimes, are really set to shift this year. Okay, specifically middle to end of January, particularly, there is going to be a really big shift. But right now, in particular, they really have been wanting to say that, and I actually can feel it. I can feel the emotions coming up. What's happening is there's so much emphasis on like moving and overwhelming and going. There's all of that. However, before that can happen, and we're really about to shift into that year of the horse, which is really about momentum, there's going to be a different pace and there's going to be a different energy that is being asked of you as we step into this new year. But what's happening is there's a need to ground in this new energy. There's a need to stabilize this new energy that's coming in, this new version of yourself. So I do feel like in the beginning of January, what's kind of happening is I'm seeing, it's really the body that wants to speak. So it almost seems like dust is about to settle. There's a lot of overwhelm energy, when the horse wants to run, the mind wants to run, and there's so much emphasis around this. But what's really happening is that there's a bit of grounding and breathing in, grounding in your energy, grounding in any kind of overwhelm, because what's happening with the body is the body's going, hey, yes, we're going to be moving it at a really fast speed. Yes, there's a different energy. Yes, there's a different momentum that's taking place right now. And you're being asked to step into that. There's a different energy that you're really being asked to fully anchor into. And this new energy of you, of who you are, and this new frequency that's coming in, this new template is really beginning to stabilize. But what's happening is the body is saying like, hang on a second here. Like, I just need a second to process all of these old emotions and all of this old energy. Like energetically, your body is processing old emotions and old energy of really the past 9 years or this cycle that you've been in. It feels complete, like the heavy lifting of the past is complete, but your body's going, hey, hang on a second. Like, yes, we're going to be moving in this really quicker, faster, lighter energy. The body just needs a second to purge and process old emotions. It's like old energy of the past. If you've been finding like old stuff coming up or old memories or really weird dreams, there's a bit of wonky energy, and it's just because the body's saying, I just need a second. Like I need a second to process. And the more that you try to fight this, the more that you kind of delay. You know what I mean? So give the body a second to process and release. And the more that you do that, the quicker that it can happen. You're not meant to be in this low grade energy. Like that's not where you're meant to be. The heavy lifting of the past is complete. And what has served as this thing that has really been holding you back is now releasing. This thing that has been this thing on your wrist that you just can't seem to shake or you haven't been able to fully release. That thing is fully releasing and purging throughout your physical body. So I do feel like in the beginning of January, you might be feeling this. It's because there's so much happening because I see this swirling cloud and it feels very cosmic. And what's happening is it's swirling you back to move forward. And it's not like pulling you back. It's just you're being met with an old energy because the body is processing old emotions. So let yourself, instead of fighting it and being like, what is going on? I'm supposed to be, all these things about 2026. It's like, yes, but right now the body just needs a second to process this as it's stabilizing a new energy in a new frequency, as it's preparing to shift into that horse energy. We can call it the final snake energy, the shedding. But I feel like a lot of that shedding is already complete. It just feels like they're showing me like this energetic reset in the body. And there's a reset within your physical body and your energetic body that is happening. And it's just it's like this old emotions that haven't been processed or you weren't able to process because things have constantly been shifting at a fast rate in a way. There's a bit of overwhelm and you just need to give yourself a second to release. And anytime you get kind of overwhelmed, really breathing and grounding in your energy. So there is a really big need to anchor in, to breathe in, to anchor in your energy for the horse, right? For that rapid speed that wants to come, because there is a new energy that is going to be asked of you. So just as you are stabilizing this new energy, this cosmic cloud that I'm seeing, they're saying it's also this two-way dialogue. So I'm feeling like a lot of affirmations are really going to be helpful this month. If you can really constantly reaffirm what you're stepping into and where you really are right now, there's going to be a constant need to like reaffirm what you're doing and co-create and claim your desires. This isn't a time to like sit back and be like, oh, I'll just let whatever is meant to be happen and just sit back and not do anything. That's not the energy that you want to be in. You want to co-create and step into your power. They're saying you have a lot of influence over what you want to step into and how it's going to be. So you get to co-create this new reality. And that's where this cosmic cloud is coming in. It's really interesting because I personally have been reflecting a lot on because I did in that event, there was this question that came up of like, what started in 2017 or what was going on in 2017. And I had to reflect on that because I guess going back, that was like a 9-year cycle, right? And we're in this one energy. And I really had to be like, oh my God, that was such a significant time. Like I remember exactly where I was. I know exactly what was going on. That was the beginning of everything for me. It's the beginning of where I started following the calling of my soul. And I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought it was going to be like in yoga and meditation, but that's where my gifts started to get activated. That's where everything started to really happen. So there's a lot of like reflection that I've had to do. And I'm sharing this with you so that you guys can also sit and be like, what happened then? Like notice where you are right now instead of resorting back to this old energy, because you're not in this old energy anymore. And we're in a very powerful portal of being able to co-create what you want to see happen. Really interesting this morning when I was meditating. And I decided that this year I was going to start to share a little bit more about like all these galactic experiences and wild spiritual experiences I have a lot. But there's some information that I received a lot of information about this I don't even know the name of it, 3A1 Atlas. I didn't look into other people, what they were talking about, but I was receiving a lot of information about it. And I had dreams that I was channeling about it. And I never actually shared the information, so maybe I will at some point. But they were showing me this morning that there's going to be a lot more aurora experiences, and also aurora is this energy of new beginnings, right? They showed me there's going to be a lot more cosmic activity in the night sky, and this aurora, the aurora borealis, there's going to be a lot more of that and a lot more things happening in the night sky. And they're saying it's this interesting thing because we're receiving so many codes and energies from the aurora. And if you look into the night sky, they're saying like you can use the night sky as an oracle. When you see the aurora, it's a lot of angel and celestial energies and activations that we're experiencing. And so there's going to be a lot more of these experiences this year, a lot more sky activity, a lot more galactic activity. Their presence is going to be very much known, and you're going to have an experience with that. You're going to be able to see. There's going to be a lot more revelations when it comes to that. So this month is really important for you to really anchor in and recognize where you are now, instead of going back into a past version of yourself. There's a really big need to really anchor in and affirm where you are now, remind yourself where you are now, identify with who you are becoming rather than what has been in the past. So it's time to really recognize who you are, how far you've come, all that you've experienced, in the past 9-year cycle, in the past lifetime. There's so many things that you've experienced and worked through and closed down. And it's really important that you now focus on the now and focus on your purpose and where you're going rather than the past, rather than other external energies. It's really, really important that you begin to focus on your purpose. Focus on what you're doing. Even if you don't know what it is, there's a really big need to focus on the present moment. Stay in the present. The presence is the key that is going to unlock the doors, okay? Keep alert to new opportunities, new ideas, new downloads, because your guides are ready to work with you in a new way, and you are ready. So instead of getting distracted and overwhelmed by the energies of like whatever's going on around you, there's a really big need to come back home to yourself, because this dust is going to settle. And when the dust settles, it's very soon, there's a very clear path before you, okay? There's a very clear, direct path. You know what to do. You know what your next steps are. You are receiving specific instructions and directions on your next steps. This path is yours. This path is not going to go to anyone else because it is yours. You were chosen for it, and you chose it, and it chose you, okay? This path, your gifts, what is for you, it can't pass you by. It can no longer go to anyone else. It's meant to be yours. Okay. And a lot of you are going to receive that message on a very physical level, and it's going to make sense to you because there's no more downplaying yourself, your gifts, your light. There's no more dropping your frequency to be a match to any energies, any lower energies. It's really important that you remain in your high vibration, keep your vibration high, and no longer dip your frequency to be a match to whatever it is around you. You want to hold the field, and you want to hold your light, and you want to have really good boundaries this year. There's no more going back into old situations. There's no more downplaying yourself or your frequency to match something that is not a fit for you. Okay. So this path that you're on and your next steps, you're being given very clear next steps, and you're really preparing for that. There's a lot of seeds that have been planted that you've been planting that are ready to take root. And it's something that has been dropping into your consciousness, and you have been moving through this really big energetic reset and a realignment to a higher path. There's a greater turning of the wheel. So when I talked about that swirling cloud, cosmic cloud-like energy, it does feel like you're like not looping back, but you're just noticing and recognizing these experiences because they're ready to be purged and released through you, because there's a higher turning of the wheel. And the pace is really picking up, and you're being asked to move in a new way. There's a momentum that is ready to pick up. An accelerated motion is beginning to land, especially by the end of January and into February. There's something coming in. There's something happening for you around that time. And I really feel like you're about to open up to a whole new set of possibilities. that are opening up for you. You're going to recognize why things haven't worked out in the past. You're going to start to see that what you've really been working towards is happening. All those times that you didn't get the validation, all those times that you worked in silence, all those times that you kept believing and you stayed in hope and faith, all those times where you were tested, all those times where people tried to rock you off your path, but you had to stay true to what you know to be true. All that hard work is about to pay off. Okay. All those times you didn't get the validation. Maybe you didn't, you put things out there and people didn't pick up on it. All of those times are about to be rewarded and paid off. It is your season to step into this. Okay. So all of those little things that you've done, all those action steps, if you're a creator of any kind, there are things that you've done that you've set in motion that maybe in the physical didn't fully pan out, but everything has been circulating and known in the higher realms, right? You have to recognize that God is your only source. The universe is your source. Okay. No one outside of you is your source. And you are working very closely with the divine, and the divine is showing you your next steps. Okay. So give yourself space to release, to process the old emotions, to let it go, because the dust is going to settle. And there's just a whole new set of possibilities that you weren't able to recognize. So there's a really important need to focus and stabilize this new energy, ground it in the new energy, really start to recognize who you are now, how much has shifted for you. You might see why certain situations didn't work out for you at the time. You might see why certain people, they had glimmers, they had little glimmers, but they didn't fully pan out. It's because you've been downgrading your frequency. You've been downgrading your energy. You've been downgrading your power, your light, and there's no more doing that anymore. You are now finally recognizing yourself. Your energy field needed to be strong. Your energy field needs to be strong and very clear, and you need to recognize who you are now, okay? It feels like maybe there are situations where you diminished yourself or made yourself less than, when really it was like kind of the opposite in situations, and you might have taken blame or downgraded or shrunk yourself to fit into environments that you were never meant to shrink in or be part of. And that's why it didn't work, okay? So recognizing your frequency and how you may have had to downgrade your energy and your frequency or diminish yourself in order to fit in some way. What was happening was you were picking up on lower energies that actually weren't yours. You were picking up on stuff that wasn't yours in various interactions. It wasn't a vibrational match to who you are and what you are becoming. It really just wasn't the right frequency for you. And that's why certain situations didn't pan out, or they didn't work out, or certain things fell apart or didn't go through. And you're going to really recognize that it's because you were actually downgrading your frequency, and you're not going to do that anymore. So no more downgrading your energy or getting swept up in lower information or lower emotions. That's a thing of the past. Okay. Rather, you are holding your new energy and really having really good energetic boundaries for others to rise to meet you. So they're showing me this month is like, you see this star off in the distance, and it feels like this star felt so unattainable that you kept moving towards it and it was going further away. This dream that was held deep in your heart and what you thought was really far away is actually right in front of you. Maybe started to feel like this wasn't possible, that this was just some kind of far off dream that wasn't possible, but this dream that has been there in your heart is beginning to land quite unexpectedly. So I get this feeling like, especially towards the end of the month and into February, I really get this feeling like I wasn't expecting this. And it's because you are not meant to know how. Okay? Your path is about to take off quite unexpectedly. Things that you've been putting in motion, all those things that you've been putting in place, like this foundation that you've been setting for yourself, is really about to take off quite unexpectedly. And you're not meant to know how. You're not meant to understand. You're not trying to figure out it in your head. You're just meant to be in the experience. And that's why you need to really understand that the past is complete. And it's really important that you be in the energy that you're in now and where you're going, because all of those times that you took action, you didn't get the validation, that is all about to pay off because the divine recognized you. The divine recognized you. The universe is your source. God is your source, not other people. Things can happen through source, God, source, whatever you want to call it, through the creator of all that is. And it happens through that, not through other people. The universe uses other people and synchronicities to show you where you're really going. So it's really important to stay in the frequency of miracles dropping in out of nowhere. This is really going to help you in this new year, that things can happen quite unexpectedly. So stay in that elevated frequency of where you are now, not where you were in the past, and know that that vision, it really does feel like an accelerated momentum towards the end of the month is about to pick up. And you're just kind of energetically rearranging, realigning, processing, releasing old emotions, and energy is getting released so that you can move forward at a quicker rate. So I do feel like that dream that you maybe started to lose faith in, or that path that you felt like, oh, okay, maybe this might not happen for me. You've had to stay really true to that vision in your heart. And it's saying that, yes, this, but it's also so much more than this. So I'm getting the feeling like, you think things can only happen in this one way when you're missing out on this whole new set of possibilities that want to open up for you, that are really going to get the ball rolling. Be in that affirming energy of where you're really going, because this is really meant for you and you were chosen for it. This path is assured. It is meant for you. Okay? You're about to open up to a whole new set of possibilities. A whole new set of people, situations are about to come in to your life. Okay? So if you are one of those people that have been, the lone wolf, or you don't speak up, or you tend to be inferior, or you tend to remain in hiding, this is your time to speak up. This is your time to shine your light, to come out of the spiritual closet. This is your time to shine, okay? There is no more staying inside, staying hidden. It's your time to shine. So you may be asked to do things that are out of your comfort zone, and that is what's going to create the breakthrough there, okay? And maybe it's actually not out of your comfort zone. It's really just your new norm, and it's really just timing, right? So maybe that thing that you think is so big and huge is really just a molehill, right? It's really just part of your path, and you are ready for it. There's a really big message of you are ready for this, okay? You deserve this. All those things that you've seen go to other people, those things that you've sat on the sidelines and it's gone to other people, well, the universe recognizes you and all your efforts and all the love that you've put into other people and the love that you're meant to put into yourself, because now this is ready to take root and it's ready to expand. It's ready to grow. It's the seed that you have been planted and has been planted in you from a long time ago is ready to sprout. And for some of you, this is going to pick up really out of nowhere, but it's because your gifts are meant to be activated right now. A lot of people are going to be stepping into their gifts this year. If you need some help and want to activate, or if you're someone who has tried, if you've tried something out, if you've tried doing it some other way, if you've tried, intuitive programs before, I highly recommend joining Activate Your Channel, because there's a likelihood if it didn't work out in the past, it's because you just weren't trying to do it in your own unique way. And I recommend joining Activate Your Channel. It is great for wherever you are on your path. If you're feeling stuck in your channeling practice, or you're just starting to open up to your gifts, or you've tried it before, but it didn't really pan out, it's because you're meant to do it in your own unique way. And I make this very simple, open, easy to really discover your own unique way, because it's not meant to happen in anyone else's way. You are here to bridge the new paradigm. You are here to step into the new paradigm. And our gifts are really being activated to a whole new level. And there's a reason why some of you are on this escalated path, because it's like, whoa. It's go time. It's go time. It's time for you to use your gifts in whatever way that is for you. Some of you might be going back into old corporate environments to use your gifts there. Some of you might be stepping into using your gifts in your everyday life, in motherhood, in your business, regardless of what that is. You have gifts that are meant to be used. And the more that you tap in to using your gifts and channeling for yourself, your direct connection to your higher self, that is where your next steps are going to come from. It's not going to be from ChatGPT. It's not going to be from watching a million people. It's actually going to come from within you. And that is going to be a very important thing in creating in this new paradigm, because you are a light leader, you're a light worker, You are chosen for this path, and it's time that you step into it. There's no more hiding. There's no more sitting on the sidelines. You're not meant to do this alone. You're not meant to be alone on this path. So if you've been following this path all alone, it's time for new community to come in, and that's what's coming in for you. Maybe you've tried in the past other spiritual community or people or whatever. You're going to find the right people. Okay. This is we're meant to come together in this new paradigm. We're not meant to do this alone anymore. We all have keys and codes for each other. So another thing I want to share with you before we're going to complete this creation energy. And I know that January is like, I feel like it's half snake and it's half horse coming in. Okay. And so this snake, right? Everybody focuses on transformation because you're going through a massive transformation very quickly. There is a bit of shedding, but it's really actually just processing. It feels like just a processing of old stuff and emotions and like, whoa, that was a crazy time. 2025 was a big year for a lot of people. It also, the past 9-year cycle and beyond was really big. We're stepping into like a quantum new moment. Okay. So it does feel like there is this need to like process and gain the lesson in the experiences, because I do feel like the method that you're going to be sharing and channeling is in this process. There are information and lessons that you've been through that you are meant to share with others. Okay. So if you're looking for, what am I going to do? What is the process? What is this method? The method is in your process. And this is what you're going to be working through and sharing and leading in this new paradigm. Okay. In the new year. So I really feel like there's a few different sides to this snake message. It's this creation energy. And a lot of you have had major activations and spiritual activations, and you just have left with your sockets blown. You don't know what to do with it. What's happening is that your body is really settling into this new activated, we'll call it Kundalini energy, whatever you want to do. There's a lot of talk on that, but this activated energy, your body's now going, okay, we've been through this activation and our body's been gone through all this stuff to be able to work with this energy. And now this energy is going to be with this like fire horse energy. You're going to be learning how to work with your gifts, how to work with this energy rather than the energy using you and you getting taxed by all these activations coming in. Your body's going to be able to process and integrate really quickly and be able to use these codes. You're not just going to release it. It's not going to just flow out of you. Your body's able to absorb it and use this energy for creation, for channeling, for using your gifts. Okay. So a really, really big message that's been coming through for a lot of people lately. And I've even seen it with myself. I've learned this over the past 9 years, right? Sometimes when you feel stagnant, or you feel like, oh, this like weird, unsettled energy or kind of wonky energy, and maybe you feel tired or whatever it may be. Sometimes that's because it's really, you need to discern, okay? Sometimes that's because your body's literally like, hey, just give me a second. Like, I just need a second here. I need to process, I need to rest. And you need to trust that and not fight that. But on the flip side of this, you need to know when that's happening because you need to rest, or really it's because you're going into stagnancy, and really what's going to kickstart momentum, and it's what's going to release and almost have this like volcano and opening of energy, is because you are not using your gifts. You're not using your creative energy. So what's going to offset that is you using your creative energy, is to create, is to get back to the desk, get back to the creation and start to create, start to speak. Even if you trip up on your words, even if you trip up in some way, the reason why you're going into that is because you're not using your energy. It's because you're not using your gifts. And this is why a lot of you are going to need to use your gifts and your abilities and your creations. So the call might actually be that's going to give you energy is going to be you using your gifts. It's going to be you channeling your creative energy. It's going to be getting it back to that desk or creation or whatever it may be that's going to give you energy, and it's actually going to create the momentum. So there is a bit of a difference here between, okay, I just need a second to relax. I just need to process. I need to be in this rest place, in this integration. But there's some of you are actually being kickstarted to use your gifts and use your energy and use your creative energy. And I know I've been in that before too, where I felt like unsettled and in this weird funky energy, and I actually force myself to do a channeling event or channel something, or a temptation to like, maybe I'll cancel or not do this thing. And it's like, no, 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 no. Because there is a difference, right? Like there are times, in the past where if I'm sick or I'm not like feeling that well, I've had to cancel or I've had to rearrange things before. But I've actually noticed that like what can create the energy is actually just doing the thing. And that's what opened up and cleared all this energy and created momentum and action. And I got energy from it. I get so much energy after I channel, or I host a huge event or an activation, or I share my podcast, or, anything like that. It's actually what brings me so much energy. I get so alive when I channel new energies through, or channel creations, or I do a really powerful session or guided activation. Like I get so much energy from it. I get excited. And that is sometimes what's going to offset the stagnant energy or the unsettled energy, or if you're feeling a little restless. The last week of December, my husband was away. It was just me. I was solo parenting, just me and my baby. My husband and my daughter went away. And I felt so unsettled. I felt so like unsettled and weird. And it's because I just wanted to create and I couldn't. And I love being a mom. I love having those moments and it's so beautiful. But I did feel this like moment where I'm like, oh, all I want to do is create right now, but I can't. And there is that moment when you make that shift, when you're no longer in that, like, sometimes when you're in resistance towards something, you're resisting doing that thing that is going to be the thing that's going to open up everything for you. And it's going to be that thing that gets you out of your comfort zone. But when you do the thing, it actually gives you so much energy, and it's really the gateway that's going to create energy. So sometimes if you aren't using your gifts or you're not creating, your gifts are going to use you. Okay. So if you've been having different challenges or whatever it may be, it's because you might not be using your healing energy or your gifts or your creation or your voice in some way, even if it scares you, even if you don't know how. All you have to do is start. Okay. So that is a really big message for a lot of people, because I have seen a lot of clients recently that have been having health challenges. And I'm seeing, what's going to happen and offset that is because you're not using your gifts and you're not using your creation or your voice. And it's time for you to step into that. I will leave you guys with that. So anytime you guys need to like feeling overwhelmed or any of that energy, it's just a note to come back into your energy and ground and take a deep breath, because your momentum's going to pick up. Okay. So ground your energy, because everything's about to change for you and you're about to open up to a really accelerated momentum, and you're being guided to work in a very new way and at a brand new pace. So I hope that you have a beautiful month, and I will speak to you all in the next episode.